recap from the weekend. Heartbreaker on Thursday. Definitely a tough one to reflect on. Going down to SUU, I think they're doing a really nice job at that program. Peter, who's taken over down there, he's taken that same group that was there last year and really molded them into something that's significantly improved on what they were last year. So I've told them that a number of times. I didn't want to see it when they played us, but they played really well. A lot of digs on their side, and we had trouble terminating. I think I think having Natalie back was a big addition for us, and she took 60 swings on the night, and I think that took its toll on her a little bit when it came to Saturday night. I think Saturday night, boy oh boy, did we play with some heart and passion. I have absolute confidence in this group that we are headed in the right direction because of the performances that we've had this weekend. I know the results don't show it and what we wanted to see, but to have them play with the heart and passion they did on Saturday and never quit was really a hallmark of what this program is becoming. And I couldn't be more proud of the group for what they did. I think there's some moments, there's some shifts in momentum and some things that were taken out of our hands that we would have liked to have more control over, but at the same time, I think the girls responded in a way that was very encouraging to watch. And as we go into these last 2 weeks of conference, we know that our destiny is still in our hands in terms of getting to the conference tournament, and we know that we're not getting, no one's going to help us get there other than ourselves. So that's what I'd say about that.
Coach, recapping again Thursday night against Southern Utah, Natalie Pasick had a really great game.
Yeah.
Coming back, I don't know how many kills she had, but I think it was a team high that game. So could you just kind of recap a little bit more on?
Yeah, she's our lone senior, and she's taken a huge workload for this program over her career, and I think at times it's starting to chip away at her a little bit physically. She tweaked her back a little bit when we were at Portland State, and hadn't been on the court for 2 or 3 weeks, hadn't practiced, and so for her to come out and do what she did on Thursday night was incredible. Take 60 swings, lead the team in kills. I think if she reflected on that match, and as we reflected on the film, her error rate was higher than she would have wanted. But to put in that kind of performance on the back of very little playing or practicing was phenomenal. It's a real testament to the character of her as a young woman who's just put this program first on so many occasions. And I do get emotional when I think about these young women and the sacrifices they make. And Natalie's at the fore of my mind often, in that regard. So it was pretty special.
Eastern Washington, being on a 5-set match, really good match the first time around. Now, obviously on the road, what kind of confidence that you take knowing that the gym team that you were successful against the first time?
Yeah, I was reflecting on it this morning a little bit. It's a similar situation to what we faced with Portland State, where we went 5 with Portland State here, went down to Portland State and played really well there. Eastern Washington, when they came out here, had some significant injuries to their roster, so their roster has changed a little bit since we played them. But I think, our roster has as well. So, the level of confidence we walk out on Thursday against Eastern Washington is going to be high because of the experience we had here. I think it's also going to be high because of the experiences we've had as a group over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Since we last saw them, was it 4 or 5 weeks since we saw them? So, yeah, great question.
With Natalie taking 60 swings, like you said, I guess how much is keeping an eye on those swings? Like how much is that something you kind of monitor?
Yeah, we monitor. We don't so much monitor it in the game. When it comes to game time, is go play. You got to be free to play. You can't be worried about the accumulation of swings in that situation. I think when it comes to practices, that's when we manage it. So we shut her down on Friday at practice. And just had her passing, staying on the ground, and that's the way we manage those kind of situations rather than in the game. I think our athletic training staff do a phenomenal job of getting these young women into situations where their bodies are prepared to compete. It's our job to communicate with our athletic training staff, our strength staff, as to what kind of workload they can manage during the week and practices, and that's kind of where the real management comes in.
Up 2-0 and then falling 2-3. What do you think that the downfall was really of the entire night? Just to.
Yeah, it sucked. You know, what I recognize is we came out with a lot of fire in the first set. I felt like towards the end of the second set, which was a tight set, if you remember, I think it was 26-24, that Southern Utah started to get some momentum. And I think we went into the locker room a little too relaxed at 2-0 up. I recognized that in the locker room, and I challenged the team to come out and to play with that same fire that we came out with in the first set. It's something we've not done well, I think, particularly at home for some reason, where we've come out after the break and often given up that third set. And that's something we continue to work on. You know, I think, and then you give a team like Southern Utah a sniff and they get rolling, and that's when you find yourself in trouble. And I think we found that in the fourth set. Once Southern Utah had won the third set, they were digging everything we hit. They were reading our hitters really well. I think they schemed really well against us. They made some adjustments on the block, and our hitters weren't able to adjust to what they did, taking away more of our line attack. They weren't able to really adjust to that. So I think a lot of credit has to go to Southern Utah in that situation for applying the pressure. And again, it was another iteration of our lineup, and it's the first time we played with that lineup this season, I believe. So, it's just one of those things where sometimes it takes a little time to find your rhythm and groove as a group, and I think that was the situation Thursday. I think flowing into Saturday, we had the same lineup that we did Thursday, which was nice, and they were able to play together throughout the match, and I think you saw the benefits of that in terms of their fight together, because they weren't wondering whose job was what anymore. It was, let's just go play. So, yeah.
Can you, Alyssa Rizzo set the school record for digs? Could you just talk about her performance this season?
Yeah, Alyssa Rizzo, that kid is a rock star. I can't speak highly enough of her. Off the court, on the court, when you think what she's doing, when she's in the nursing program here, which is extraordinarily demanding. She's not able to practice with us on a Monday because she's in nursing labs all day Monday. She's in doing clinical things on Wednesday. The commitment she has to being her best in the classroom as a nurse is indicative of her success that she's having on the court, because she brings that same commitment to what she's doing as a volleyball player. I couldn't be more proud of her or more excited for her for the individual accolades she's receiving, and to sit atop of the all-time digs record for a single season could not be more deserving for her. That kid is a special one, and I'll say it in private often, but we have recruiting stories about all of these young women. They've got their own path that they make to Montana State, and Alyssa's got a really neat one where she knew she wanted to be a nurse, and she knew what she wanted to be in the mountains, and so she found Montana State and started recruiting us before we recruited her. It was a pretty easy sell once we saw her play, and the commitment she's had to this program since arriving as a 3-year starter as a libero has been phenomenal, and the improvement she's had over the last year has really been, it really shows in the results that she's had this year. I think she's probably outdug her personal previous season record by at least 100 this year, I'd guess. Incredible kid.
Can you talk about the support between cross sports? Like, for example, Alyssa and I saw Natalie and them at the exhibition game for basketball, and you see some football players and some basketball players at the volleyball match. I mean, how's the relationship between, they obviously don't play the same sport and they don't see each other all the time, but how's that relationship between cross sports?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of benefits to the tight space that we live in here in the field house. Having every team in the field house is pretty unique. I've not experienced that at a previous university, an institution I've been at. And I think the huge benefit of that is they see each other in the weight room. They see how hard each other are working in the weight room. They see each other when they walk to practice, because men's and women's basketball share our facility when we're practicing in Schroyer. Or if they're going over to the rec center to practice over there. They see each other at the fueling station. They see each other in the academic center. So there is this real connectivity amongst all of the student athletes in the building. And then you add to that the experience that we had on Friday night at the Blue Gold Gala, where there's every single one of our student athletes, if not every single one, a very high percentage, who are all there to participate in the Blue Gold Gala, and the shared experiences that they have, I think is a real testament to the environment that's being built here as an athletic department. You see, and then as you mentioned, you see the camaraderie amongst the student athletes when they go out and support each other. I mean, the hard part for us is with football playing at 2 o'clock on a Saturday, it's challenging for our girls to get out there. But I know that, I mean, every opportunity they get to get out and support football, they will. You know, it's on the TV in the training room when we're getting ready for practice. You know, and it's likewise with basketball, and it's likewise with every squad here. I mean, I know when tennis starts playing in some of their home and away, we'd love to get out and watch tennis. You know, skiing's challenging at times for us just because of the timing of those things. But Montana State University, Montana State Bobcat Athletics, I think has an environment that is unrivaled in any institution I've attended, worked at, and I would say it's unrivaled in most institutions around the country just because of the connection between the student athletes. It's truly special.